Okay, question 7's a complete and utter nightmare unless you remember the addition property. Addition property. So, and that's saying if I've got n minus 1 CR minus 1 plus n minus 1 CR, that comes out as NCR. So if you've got these two, then this one becomes the next. And if you've got the R minus 1 and R, then we just go to R. So for example, if I had NCR minus 1 plus NCR, well, my n's then would be like the n minus 1 in the formula, so I'd go up to the next one, n plus 1, C, and then back down here where we had our R minus 1, R, then that's just going to go to R. So that's A plus B. If I have C plus D, then that's going to be NCR plus 1 plus NCR plus 2. It's going to give me N plus 1 CR plus 2. And if I have B plus C, then that's NCR plus NCR plus 1 is going to give me N plus 1 CR plus 1. So when we say A over A plus B plus C over C plus D equals 2B over B plus C, we're saying, well, that's A, NCR minus 1 divided by A plus B came out as N plus 1 CR. I've got C, NCR plus 1 divided by, that came out as N plus 1 CR plus 2. And that equals 2 lots of B, so NCR, and that's been divided by B plus C came out as N plus 1 CR plus 1. Okay, so NCR minus 1 is the same as N factorial over, there we go, R minus 1 factorial N minus R minus 1 factorial. And that's been divided by N plus 1 CR, so N plus 1 factorial over R, I don't need that bracket, R factorial N plus 1 minus R factorial. We're adding on NCR plus 1, N factorial over, R plus 1, so R plus 1 factorial N minus R plus 1 factorial. And that was divided by N plus 1 factorial over R plus 2 factorial N plus 1 minus R plus 2 factorial. And we're trying to say that this whole thing equals 2 times N factorial over R factorial N minus R factorial divided by N plus 1 factorial over R plus 1 factorial N plus 1 take R plus 1 factorial. Okay, so just to colour code these where they came from, this one is this one, which is, I'll get a bigger thing, which is this whole one. And we had this one, which is this one, which is this whole one. And that comes out as, what colour should I choose? Blue. This one, which is this one, which is this whole thing. Okay, let's start tidying this up. So, n minus r minus 1 factorial is the same as n minus r plus 1 factorial. Okay, and n minus r plus 1 factorial is the same as n minus r take 1 factorial. Anything else I can tidy up? N minus, this one will come out as n minus r take 1 factorial. This one will come out as n minus r factorial. Let me just get rid of the stuff on this page. Sorry, I was working with my IT class, teaching them some trig, as one does. Okay. Now I'm going to essentially rewrite this thing again, but I'm going to rewrite it with timeses instead of divides. You know, keep flip change. Times, so this one's going to go upside down. So I've got this going above this. Same with this. I did the flip, but I didn't do the change. And same with this one, keep flip change. Okay, now let's see what I can cancel out. N minus r plus 1 factorial on both sides. Nice. I love it when stuff cancelled out. That one disappears, n minus r factorial disappears. So what I've actually got is n factorial over r minus 1 factorial times r factorial over n plus 1 factorial plus n factorial over r plus 1 factorial times r plus 2 factorial over n plus 1 factorial equals 2 times n factorial on r factorial times r plus 1 factorial over n plus 1 factorial. Now, I'd like to remind you, n plus 1 factorial is the same as n plus 1 times n factorial. We're going to use that because then we get, well, this r factorial and this r minus 1 factorial, they would actually simplify. Actually, I'm going to rewrite it with our unrolling. That's an r. That's r times r minus 1. And n plus 1 factorial is n plus 1 times n factorial. Then I've got n factorial, r plus 1 factorial. R plus 2 factorial is the same as r plus 2 times r plus 1 factorial. N plus 1 factorial is n plus 1 times n factorial. Don't need that start of a bracket. Equals 2 times, I've got n factorial, r factorial. This is r plus 1 times r factorial. And this is n plus 1 times n factorial. So now let's go in and start cancelling. N factorial, I'll take 1 factorial, n factorial, r plus 1 factorial, n factorial, r factorial. All up I get r over n plus 1 plus r plus 2 over n plus 1 equals 2 times r plus 1 over n plus 1. Now, all of these had n plus 1 on the bottom, means I can get rid of all of the bottoms. So, I've got r plus 2 equals 2 times r plus 1. I'm just putting this in brackets because I have to times the whole lot by r plus 1, which means 2r plus 2 equals, expand the brackets, 2r plus 2. Left-hand side equals the right-hand side. Done. Gosh, I hate that question.